Hello, ladies and Germans. How are you all doing today? This is Khan over coming to you with another episode of Company of Heroes 2. Today, we have the Wehrmacht forces of, unfortunately, two kanji that I have no idea what they are. So it's going to be the German player. And up here in the north, we have the Soviet forces of Tassos117. So you can see already Tassos has decided to go for building up his own first tier 1 building. It's happening over here as well for the kanji player. And the map right now is Angoville, so this is a very, very standard map. Code 1 and Code 2 players alike will recognize this. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous, very, very innocent map. Let's take a look. A nice little calm battlefield in the midst of all the other horror. Alright, but MG42 does come out. Let's take a quick look at commanders. Tassos, I'm surprised already that he's not really going for partisan commander. He's got guard mortar coordination tactics, he's got partisan tactics, and he's got shock rifle frontline tactics. A little surprised he's not going for this quite immediately, so I'm guessing he's not, since he's not running it the second he starts. He may not be going for the partisan tactics. Our German player, in the meantime, is bringing along Festung Armor Doctrine, Jaeger Armor Doctrine, and Lightning War Doctrine. So, if we're lucky, if we're really, really lucky, we'll be able to see a lot of different, let's say, armored vehicle animals coming out onto the field, whether it's a Tiga or if it's a elephant, but maybe we'll see something coming out from the German player. The map itself is kind of developing in a very, very expected manner. We are going to see Russian troops kind of spreading out in kind of maybe a less unorthodox, a more unorthodox rather, capturing path. These conscripts seem a little bit confused about which way they really want to go. While Germany seems a little bit more defined, he is immediately moving to the eastern side of this map. Excuse me. Picking things up there. But the German player is going to go for a sniper early on, and against the Soviets, that could be very, very interesting about whether or not that's going to be a good option, let's say, in the long term. This Maxim, though, is starting to put some significant hurt down on the German player. Damage him quite significantly, taking out a model already, and not really taking a whole lot of damage himself. That's the difference between an MG42 and the Maxim. But while that is happening, the German player, the kanji, let's just call him kanji, is putting down a ton of razor wire, looking to kind of just remove the opportunity for these pathways through here to really be picked up on this wire. Problem with this is that the wire itself will get cut pretty swiftly. Oh man, we're going to see right now that the sniper is shifting up here, trying to get a line of sight on top of that machine gun, and if he gets a couple of shots down, yes, he might only get a 50% chance of hitting, which is what the 2-hit percentage is, let's say, for firing at garrisons, but nevertheless, what the heck? It's a very, very unique way of setting this up. And unfortunately, for some reason, this wire over here has not been set out at all. Oh well. Meantime, Maxim is going to take a little bit of firepower from that sniper. He's going to kind of creep back into a little bit of cover and just rotate from side to side in this house. You do see right there a very, very good exploit of the game mechanics. Whenever you have a lower squad in a house, you move another squad in there so that way the models that are left in the, let's say, the attacked squad are less likely to be taken out as hit point damage done further and further to the units within the garrison. Wasn't the best way perhaps to describe that, but bear with me, guys. I'll try to figure out a better way to do that moving forward. I am going to say, by the way, too, that, guys, hopefully by the time that this video goes up, we will have had an official channel email going out. I think at this point it might be just through a Gmail, but keep your eyes peeled for the channel on how to submit replays for yourself. I have a couple good, really juicy replays coming up to you guys submitted by some subscribers. AKP97 actually sent a replay in to me a little while ago. I'll have it up for you guys soon. As well as Mossberg, the subscriber Mossberg, has sent in a replay, so we'll get a shot of that going forward as well. So thanks both of those guys for sending in material. See right now, both God Houses have been taken back again. Both MG42 and Maxim have been completely, totally brought back up to speed, all healthy and wealthy again. And somewhat surprisingly, there's been no real teching up from either group. Very, very minimal fuel taking from either side. Mortar's going to set up behind the one God House, though, and the addition of that, we have more than enough to force back this machine gun pretty quickly. Naturally, of course, these guys are going to start laying down some hurt because of retreating conscripts. That's just unfortunate. But now you have 2 Maxims as well. This mortar really putting some damage in on the garrison and to do force back the German player. You can tell right now the map is turning rather red. The Russians themselves are picking up quite a significant amount of fuel gain advantage. Which is not going to be too great, let's say, for the German player if he continues to take pressure like this. Even right now, look at this down here to the southwest. The German player has largely neglected the western side of this map, and although he's got 1 Pyro squad there, that's just not going to be enough to force back all these Russians that are really kind of tramping around. Now, this poor man's mortar pit over here is going to continue to lay fire down on this garrison, and really, if you're the Germans, you want to kind of force away as much of this heat as possible. Because 12 troops right here, first of all, significant investment of manpower, but secondly, losing this garrison right here means it's much more difficult for you to hold on to the VP and the strategic point in the east. Now what we are seeing is that marauding Pioneer squad is shifting out over to the western side to pick up the munitions to the west. There's a Grenadier squad that's managed to kind of, let's say, infiltrate behind enemy lines, but they are very swiftly pushed away. These combat engineers, although they are immediately outclassed in a short-range firefight, will take pretty good trades against a Pioneer squad, especially the Pioneer squad is already damaged quite a bit. Now, neither side continues to be teching up. We are going to finally see a medic bunker, I think, coming up in the base of the German player. But we're still not seeing any, let's say, wait, where's this firepower? Oh, okay. These poor guys right here coming under, taking a lot of firepower from this MG42. But we're not seeing a whole lot of taking up from either side here, which is very surprising. There's been a ton of munitions, of fuel gained by especially by the Soviets. But it's not been quite enough to really see another building come forward. Now, both sides have mortars. We're going to see another attritional kind of style game coming out as we did recently with, I think, with Jove and Jesselin a couple of videos ago. But with these mortars on the field, that's first of all a very good way to kind of keep your opponent at arm's length. But a mortar is a very, very static means of force multiplication. You want to, at least in Code 2 especially, if you know your opponent is a much more aggressive player, which is a little bit harder to know necessarily in most games, if you're just basing your push on a slow-moving kind of almost defensive style, it's going to be a very, very long and difficult game. And the longer games go, the more opportunities your opponent has and coming back into a game. So I'm not sure, again, if I have to explain that perfectly, but something to keep an eye on that one. This Grunt squad over here is going to get outflanked pretty easily. These conscripts are running in, oorahing like crazy, and going to sprint in and going to start firing at those Grens. They are forced away, unfortunately, for the Grens, but there is still a sniper back here, as well as this mortar that's going to throw up a fair amount of firepower, to keep guys more distant, let's say. We have seen a tech up from both sides finally, Lethal Mechanized Company, as well as a Tank Infantry Battalion Command getting finished up right now. And a nice T-70 out of Tassos might be more than enough to see the battlefield really turn in his favor. First of all, because there's absolutely no anti-tank on the field for the German player, and right now that mortar's been picked up as well. So as that last crewman runs off the field, kind of like a coward, the Soviets have managed to get themselves a very, very significant, what you call it here, a significant advantage. Wow. Really difficult to come up with that term. Forgive me, guys. 1 second, though. Alrighty, guys. Forgive me for a quick well, again, for you guys don't really notice a whole lot of the change on that one, but anyway. Right now, Tassos is doing something, though, I do not really approve of, and that is showing his mineling. So while the T-70 is going to come out, it's going to be a 2-2-2 over from the German side. And this house is actually almost ready to go down already, which is great for the Soviets. Maybe less great. They're going to take a lot of firepower from that mortar, and that's not going to be great in the long term. But the engineers are laying down a bunch of mines on this main road, which is great, don't get me wrong. But when your opponent sees where your firepower is being deployed, it kind of limits the effectiveness of that. Kind of wonder if this T-70 is going to crash through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man. And what do we got? Kool-Aid! No, never mind. You see it slide around to this eastern side of the house. Not even. Not even. Mortars in the meantime, going back and forth one more time. We see these GR-34s? Yeah, GR-34s sitting over here throwing out a barrage on top of that house. And it's a good, very, very wisely the Russians do back away. 351 to 485, the Soviets have very, very much a solid grip onto this particular field, and really a T-70 charge into the base could see this mortar coup picked up pretty easily. Heck, could even see some frustration attacks being made on these machine gun bunkers, and that could be kind of amusing as well. Or actually, even more appropriately, taking out this medic bunker could be a severe, severe hit. Unfortunately for them, though, it's not going to happen. We are going to see these combat engineers have plopped down an explosive charge over here to the northern side of the building. So the next time that we see Germans go in there, we could see a big, big amount of death. And right now, already, we are going to see the squad of Grens does get dropped, and with one remaining survivor is going to retreat back to base. Still has the LMG on him, so not a biggest loss, but it does allow the Soviets already in a prime position to continue their dominance. And I'm not entirely sure why these mortars are continuing to fire on this particular structure, but I suppose they'll keep things in a little more of a homeostatic area. Maybe if he just takes it out, he's not going to worry about it at all. T-70 is going to move over here to the western side, trying to get in on this entire action. And these Grens are going to be quite surprised. They have enough to get a nice Panzerfaust off. That's not going to be enough. Drop to half health already. Here comes the Panzerfaust. Yep. So damaged engine, and these combat engineers are quite pinned, but that's okay. 222 is going to slide around to one side. And I don't think... Oh no, but the armor-piercing ammo might actually be enough to see this T-70 go down. So well played by the German player. And he buys it. The armor-piercing incendiary rounds. Wow. Wow. Sometimes you don't really realize how much damage it's going to do to a light vehicle until you see it happen. Now, Gren Squad here, not going to get that explosive package, let's say, happening. But we are finally going to see, perhaps, maybe even the Germans take a 2-to-1 advantage in, what's that, VP, strategic points? Maxim, in the meantime, is going to force away this MG42, which is kind of funny. I love actually how that major gunner runs here. It's so awkwardly, I kind of feel. Swinging his shoulders from one side to the other. It's like, come on, guys. Got to get away. Grant, in the meantime, are going to take the strategic point, going to move to a VP finally, and just stop that bleed. And 13 minutes in, you really have to worry about him because he is down an awful lot. Siskin comes in to go after that 222, and the 222 is not going to go anywhere close up the middle part of this field, I don't think. Though if I were the 222, who is still bleeding and doesn't have any kind of repairs happening to him right now, mostly because there's no PIOs, I'd be walking around trying to pick off targets of opportunity. Where's his lone conscript? Oh, he's back over here. Okay. Mechanized Armor Company has been called in. So the Soviet has teched all the way up, and a T-34 right now would be more than enough to really put the kibosh on the German player. Now, we are probably going to see a squad of Grens. Oh, no, the MG's going to move into the house. That's going to be a big loss. It's a big, big loss for the Germans if that happens. He goes in. And big boom. There we go. Garrison goes down, as does that MG42. So that 2-star MG buys it. And Tassos is impressing me right now with this kind of, let's say, passive Soviet defenses. Which, hey, for me, works wonders. I think it's fantastic. One of those things you don't always see a whole lot of use of, at least not in this game, at least to my humble opinion, is you don't see a lot of these explosive packages really being used excellently. Yes, if you have engineers out in the field, they do kind of see what's going on and limit the effectiveness of said packages. But until that happens, one or two very, very timely explosions, and it's a fairly devastating blow. See right now another MG42 is being called in to kind of deal with these massed amounts of Soviet infantry. And that's not going to be great as soon as one of these T-34s comes out. There is still no real anti-tank presence on the field for our German player. And now it's a T-34-85 coming out because of that guard motor coordination tactics. Coupling in with those Guards rifles and the mortars. What's this over here at 8? Oh, it's marked vehicle. Okay. I can never remember. Some of the symbols are always kind of a mystery to me. That 222 is going to be taken out in just a couple of shots. So first is going to be a anti-tank grenade, going to damage the engine, and he's got more than enough munitions to throw another one or two of them out if he needs to. And right now, all he's really got to do is just continue to just harass the Germans like crazy. So what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a very, very effective usage of that kind of using the map on either side. And to be fair, the German player is not necessarily making the best decision in how to react to this. One, for example, leaving points like this wide open when he should not be. And two, ignoring an entire side of the map, which you see right now, all the German players are in this lower quadrant of the field, while the Soviets are much more spread out. Guards infantry is being brought in right now to the PTRSs, so if, that's T-34 announces his presence with a 3-kill shot, another shot or two might be devastating. Doesn't manage it, but if he charges after this guy, it should be more than enough. Yeah, bro, you might as well just get rid of all that wire, just there's no point to it. And now a very, very swift pack is being called in, but that T-34-85 is still upgunned. Quite a substantial amount. And with the support of the Guards' rifles, as well as those conscripts kind of running in every single direction, and a very, very annoying sandbag fighting position going in, with actually appropriating his opponent's wire for a lot of it. What we're going to see is this German being forced further and further back, 243 to 473 already, and we're seeing the German is quite abused. MG42 is going to manage to give a little bit of frustration to these guards. He's going to probably pin them pretty quickly. And the G34 mortar is going to cause an issue as well. But again, that T-34 on the map is just too much to be handled. It's too much. There's nothing that can really kind of touch it right now. The Pack 40 is not going to mean a whole lot. Panzerfaust 2, well, yeah, you can eat that for breakfast. Pack 40 is going to get a shot or two. The Russian's going to move away. Yeah, it takes a little bit of damage. Still not, enough to be really, truly worrying. And if I had the Guard Motor Coordination Tactics Commander, I actually might be bringing in one of the 120mm mortar squads. Oh my gosh, big booms happening. Oh man, that was it. Guards throw out a little bit of their frag grenades. Doesn't do a whole lot. Tank in the meantime, though, does rack up 5 more kills. This thing is actually kind of making its presence known rather effectively already. With the Ziskin on the field, the Germans are falling back pretty much across the entire map. Though they're able to kind of keep their opponents entertained at long range, these Grenadiers are going to take more and more grievous losses, and already there's a massive veterancy advantage on the part of the Soviets over that of the Germans. Now, I kind of wonder sometimes if this particular bit is out of range of this particular pack or what. I couldn't say for sure. I'm always a little bit confused on the range of mortars. But hey, that's not as magnificently important right now. In the meantime, though, we are going to see these Pyos running around trying to set off and push back all these particular explosive devices. And when they are right up in front of this Maxim, somehow they managed to force back the Maxim. That's a little bizarre. They're going to take a fair amount of firepower, though, from this Ziskin, who's going to do a very, very close-range artillery barrage. Basically on the whole T-70 wreck, and taking it out does remove that green cover, which is almost as good. But 202 to 473, the Soviets are in a great spot. There's really not a whole lot of need for them to really rush forwards. I would see a little more aggression, actually. I mean, if you have your opponent on the run, you might as well push him out. And save for that pack, which is, really, again, the only thing on the field that can deal with the T-34, you might as well be more aggressive. Pack 48 gets found out over here. T-34 comes up to try to pick on it a little bit. Going to manage a shot or two, but the Panzerfaust is going to come out instead. Scratches the armor, doesn't take it out. Doesn't even take out the damaged engine either on it either. And the second T-34-85 is coming out to the field, and once that happens, the Germans are in a very, very difficult position. They still haven't teched up to Tier 2. No, they have, but they don't have a support armored corps, excuse me. Only finally going down now, and I don't think that's going to be enough for them to really take on what currently is on the field for the Soviets. 188 to 473, 20 minutes in. Let's contrast this with the last game I think I posted, one of the last games I posted with Joven Jezelin, where just crazy amounts of just attritional warfare. These grinds are shifting up over here. Here comes another big boom, I imagine. They're going to slide up, and kaboom, kaboom. Any second now. Any second now. Any second. I was just wasting more time. Is that what he's doing? Blow the stupid explosives, my friend. T-34 is still there, and this explosive should have been blown up a long time ago. Why are they not blowing up? Okay, well, right now it's definitely a big mistake. Those grenadiers should be dead like 10 times over. T-34s are sliding in, trying to put some more pressure on these Germans, and really, again, these Germans should not be in as great a position as they are. These guys at the same time move up to another one as well, so what are they doing? Tassos, boo-boo. You have a gift wrap squad right about now. They do pick up a squad over here to the east, so maybe actually be complaining a little bit less. But this Pack 40 is going to try to make itself a little bit more evident on the field. It takes a shot or two at that T-34. It kind of laughs and is like, haha, you stink, my friend. Oh no, okay, so that finally did go off. Well, it took out two guys. The other one, it might have been so much better to drop it when they hit this area right here. Stug's being called in, but one single Stug and a Zis gun against a Pack, no, excuse me, a Stug and a Pack 40, rather, against two 34-85s and a Zis gun. It's going to be kind of a tough sell, especially since they can call in another one pretty quickly. Okay, so he's a few minutes away from that particular decision. As of right now, he's in an excellent field position right now. Explosive traps all over the field. He's going to take back this field on the western side, and once he does that, and secures his one to the east, we are going to see, well, machine gun over here being a pain. We are going to see another T-34, I imagine, pretty quickly on the field, and once that happens, I would like to see a just giant armor blow falling down on the German player. These combat engineers really should be moving at the same time. Could be a little bit better micro from both sides in this particular game. Combat engineers are just taking free shots right. Ooh, and one shot takes out an entire Grenadier squad. Unlucky RNG on that one. 6 kills for one, 10 on the other one. These combat engineers are sliding up and then running after that T-34 a little bit more. 222, a Pack, this bunker, and this Stug are not going to be able to do a whole lot if the T-34s get very, very aggressive. And they really should be at this point. 76 to 85. So there's, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think the T-34 right now is a little bit too strong. Katyusha's being called in. I don't necessarily agree with this particular thing, but I guess as more of a passive, obliterate your enemy, as opposed to really fighting in the long term it's just as fine. Mortar rounds are falling back and forth. Firepower is coming down on this house right here. So with this bunker and this MG, I wouldn't be too sanguine if I were the Russian player, but at the same time I wouldn't be too worried either. You're slowly just decaying and taking out your abilities, your opponent's ability to wage war. And when you're up 250 tickets, it's a little bit difficult to complain very much at the Soviet level. Zisgun, though, I would say right here, Zisgun has an opportunity to really be putting down some light arty barrages. Oh no, is 222 going to slide forward? Because that would be just as good. Either way, Pack 40 moving up, trying to put some pressure onto the Soviet tanks. And we'll get several shots off, don't get me wrong. And the conscript infantry is sliding forward, trying to get some sort of anything on this Pack 40, but they're probably going to get suppressed in just a second first. Well, rather pinned rather than suppressed. Firepower has been called in, but now it's a Katyusha on the field, and any second now he's going to realize where he wants to actually start shooting here. And the Stug's going to be forced to back away as this gun also starts laying down some smackdown from at range. There we go. So 222 taking some firepower from these rockets. Not very fun to go through, let me tell you. It might even go out if he's unlucky on the way that these rockets scatter. One more set? No more sets. Okay, well, luckily enough that 222 gets away. But the T-34-85s could really charge forwards, really wallop that Pack 40 pretty easily, and even take on the Stug. Even with its backside up against the wall and it's covered by the bunker, excuse me, by this garrison over here to the west. The Germans are not in a very good position as it pertains to, well, field position overall. We are going to see, again, that this MG-42 is going to slide out to the west, try to get out. But these conscripts are just more than happy. Going to just run around the field, just decap a little bit. They're going to move at maximum speed. They're going to charge and sing the good old Das Verdania Rodina. I don't even know if it's a thing or not, but let's just say it is. PTRS guards at the same time are going to kind of slide up here, trying to get behind this 222. If they know it's there, they could even, you know, throw themselves a wee bit of a frag grenade over there. There we go. Oh man, a very speculative one. Oh, no, going for the mortar. So 2 models drop a hefty amount of HP down as well. These Grenadiers are going to go and very, very gamely try to charge forwards and take out this munitions point, but it's not going to happen. And we're going to see another one used on cooldown, because that'd be pretty good too. Again, light arty barrage would be an excellent opportunity here, because we're really taking out a lot of this German war material. So, any second now, guys. 146 to 434. Another grenade? No grenade. Okay. Down to the south, we are going to see these conscripts are finally getting forced away. But we have a Maxim over here pretty much covering this VP. And if that's the case, you really don't want to be a German coming forwards. Oh my gosh, here comes another Gren squad on top of the explosive device. This would be a squad wipe right here. Squad wipe. There we go. Grens go down, so now we only have really one squad of really mainline infantry for the German player. A lot of support weapons, which would be great in very, very limited sections of the battlefield, but right now he's just not being aggressive. So Germans falling further and further behind as 26 and a half minutes pass on this battlefield. How would I go and combat this if I were the German player? Well, one, the German player doesn't have enough time to really get to that elephant tank destroyer. And the Stuka bombing strike, he's not going to have enough munitions for that either. So the question really is, does he invest in something like an Ostwind? Does he invest in something more sturdy than a Stug? I would say yes. Even a Panzer IV right now might be worth it, the short barrel Panzer IV. But we are going to see this Pak 40 over here go down, and with that going down, there really isn't... Oh, no, they're going to recruit really quickly, but these T-34s are going to rush in, no pun intended, and try to take this back out again. So one more volley would be more than enough, I think, to take it out. And 222 is going to try to lend itself from the west. Tassos is going to also just kind of allow his tanks pilling to get destroyed. So marked target is going to go down, takes out one stroke, destroys the engine at least. And that's not really a huge loss necessarily, but what he should be doing is just trying to put an attack round through. Misses the first one. And definitely missed an opportunity there. But there goes the Stug. Now, if I were he, I would try to throw down rounds through this everything. But instead, he's going to take some firepower. Just luckily enough, the last Pak 40 round misses, but the mortar does not. And that Pak 40, which had just been not the bane of existence for so long, but a very, very difficult prospect, has been taken out. Urad doesn't do a whole lot. These guys unfortunately get suppressed pretty quickly by the machine gun bunker, but the second that Katyusha gets another chance to fire, which is any second now, 20 seconds to go, we're going to see that thing probably get blown away. Now, unfortunately for the Russians, they are going to start losing some tickets right now, 116 to 431, but considering the kind of lead that they have, it really doesn't make a huge deal. Guards really should be called in at this point as well. Where are those guards? They're scampering around the field. 2 stars of veterancy, sliding back over here to the eastern side, as the Germans are now trying to take back, and do successfully take back, 2 VPs. Nevertheless, if I'm a Soviet, I am barraging this particular area to take out this garrison, to take out this bunker, to even do damage to this 222 right here. Mortars are laying down some hurt too. Here comes the bunker and the garrison destruction. Garrison goes down. There goes the bunker, so 75 munitions lost as well as the manpower. And these guards' rifles now know where they can charge. Mortar fire. The mortar's going to take some more hits, and yep, our German player surrenders. I actually have to agree at this point. Yes, he does have a fair position left. He could even salvage it too, but the way he's deploying resources may have been far better. Shockingly, the sniper was not able to really achieve a whole lot on the field. If maybe with a little bit better micro, but a much better opportunity. But really, the early Soviet game really is what sealed it for Tassos, is grabbing the fuel points as well as keeping his opponent contained to a large degree, really on this kind of quadrant 4 of the map, if you're splitting it 1, 2, 3, 4. Keeping his opponent really confined to one area. Nevertheless, that's going to be it for us in this particular game. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like what you see, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see your game sent out for casting, let me know. I'll be more happy to do that. So we will talk soon. I will see you all soon. And this is Conoric signing off. You all have a great day. Take it easy.